when people ask me what your hobby is, Jane, and it's always been the research side of things. That's my hobby, really. It's my life. I was age 3. I fell and dislocated my elbow. And then I had to have something called physiotherapy, which at 3 I probably didn't realise was physiotherapy, but it was a nice lady in a white coat who had the most fantastic shoes. And apparently I turned round when I finished my treatment and said to my mum, one day I'm going to be a lady who wears a white coat. And I've always wanted to help people. And to me, it just seemed the most normal, natural progression to become a physiotherapist. And I carried on. I went to physio school, and it was, to be fair, one of the hardest things I could have done, because it was almost like doing medicine. The anatomy and everything else was at the same level at that time. But we were treated like schoolgirls because we had to have navy blue knickers and Airtex blouses. And by the time we finally qualified, we were just told, go away girls, enjoy your career, you can have nice career breaks, have your children come back to the career, it's a really nice career for ladies, read your journal, and that's all you're going to have to do. And I just carried on and learnt with ward rounds and just with experience and expertise, until eventually I'd had my daughter and everything else had happened, and then I got my PhD, and then I ended up with the NHR clinical lectureship. But basically my life has just been revolving around the fact that I was a physiotherapist, I was helping people, and I've been so very, very blessed in the career that I chose. The first lady was a lady called Norma Wilding. She was a superintendent physiotherapist, and she was the old guard, the old school. She was a proper superintendent, but she was a great manager. She was a great manager in the fact that she fought for you, that she had vision. If she knew what she needed, then she knew who to go and talk to and get. If you had a problem, you just went to her. You knew you had to go to her, and it would all be sorted. The other lady came into my life a lot later on in my career, when I'd actually just started my PhD. I didn't even know it was a PhD at the time, but that's how naive I always was. But Dr Lynn Goodacre was actually married to Professor John Goodacre, who was actually my PhD supervisor when I was doing a quantitative part of my research. And I wanted to change to mixed methods, and Lynn was the obvious choice to teach me how to do qualitative research. So within the first sphere of actually getting involved with research, it was Lynn who taught me how to do qualitative research, but also how to listen to patients. She always used to say I'm a physio so I could solve problems, but she said occupational therapists listen to people first and then they help them to solve the problems. And that was the biggest lesson I think I ever learnt. I've always been a person who never really truly believed that I could do it, but Lynn's the person who's actually really helped me to quieten that gremlin and carry on with my life. And I'm really, really grateful to her. Comedy to me and laughter is all part and parcel of what I do, because I honestly believe that if you can stand back and laugh at yourself as well, that's really, really part of it. I think the biggest low point for me ever was the fact that I just got a PhD. And I knew that nobody understood what that meant. I knew that people didn't understand what the PhD had been about, that in fact it had taken me 8 years to do the thing, but how much it had changed me as well. And it was really hard for me actually to think that I was now a doctor. But I went back into work and they said, Jane, we need to change your name badge. So it was going to be Dr Jane Martindale. So my name badge came, it came in a nice envelope, having had my picture taken, it's all very pretty. And I put it on my little bit of uniform. And then within half an hour, somebody came and said, Jane, you can't wear that name badge because you'll confuse your patients because you're a physiotherapist. And they took it off me. And I think that to me was the thing that really, really made me understand that culture is really difficult to change, that if you've gone out there and you've really done something that you really wanted to do, and it's going to make a difference to your patients' lives, and it's never going to be accepted, then to me, that was the lowest point. I don't know why, but there was always this little voice that kept saying to myself, you know, you're not good enough, and I don't believe in myself. And I don't know where it came from, but it was always there, and it was always quite a loud voice as well that kept telling me that I wasn't good enough, that I was only this physiotherapist. But now I'm really proud that I'm a physiotherapist. So I would give myself that little extra kick. Maybe if I ever said that to myself again, kick myself and say, no, come on, Jane, get on with it. You can do it. And if that voice comes again, then, okay, just ignore it. Just get on with it. My best supporters, well, first of all, it's my husband David. He's just been my rock all the way through, even though he hasn't got a flipping clue what I've been doing for all these years. My other best supporters are our daughter Emma, who has been amazing. She's the cleverest little thing I've ever known. I got a graduate diploma in physiotherapy, so I always wanted to be a. So I went to university and did health studies at Bolton Institute at the time when she was a baby, because I always wanted to know that, you know, computers were coming in and I wanted to be able to teach her what a computer was. But in the meantime, I kind of like did women's studies and all sorts of stuff, and it was really exciting, and I did counselling and all of that sort of stuff. But she's always been there for me during that, because as she was growing up, I did a PhD, and she was doing her homework and mummy was working as well at the same time. Okay, it's going to be hard. Okay, if you really, really want to do this, are you curious enough? Are you at the point in your life where you can allow yourself time to become curious, to become absorbed, and you will become absorbed. If you're not absorbed, then it's not for you. So be curious, be brave, get your support networks in place and get them in there as quickly as you possibly can. And tell your support networks that they are amazing, that they're really helping you, that there will be times when you can't be as with them as much as you would want to be. Hugs. It's a lot of hugs. It's a lot of empathy. It's listening to them and their ideas. It's allowing them to not, again, have any boundaries with their ideas, to let them think outside the box, to let them know that, yes, they can do it. Well, I think with women, we're still stereotyped. We're still going to be the homemaker, we're still probably going to be the mother, we're still going to be the career woman in a certain extent. And I think for a woman to move into another world, another arena where she's potentially not being seen as being the norm, then they need to be helped. They need to be guided, to be shown that, yes, of course it is, that it should not be anything to do with gender, that anybody who is curious, who wants to look into a world, to ask questions, to really want to delve down deeply into what is the evidence behind what we give. Because at the end of the day, it's all about our patients. At the end of the day, research is about going out there and making sure that we do the very, very best within ourselves and our own ability to actually make our patients' lives with their conditions as good as they possibly can be.